Bismillah Rahman Rahim Assalamu alaikum. Indeed, all praises are due to Allah. We praise Him, we seek help from Him. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, He alone, He has no partners, and Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, is the servant of Allah and His messenger. Nazarene, one of the Azam al-Martabak mentioned in Tariq is Hazrat Luqman Rahmatullah al. In today's video we will tell you about Hazrat Luqman Rahmatullah al. For what reason you were given knowledge and wisdom, when your life is full of wisdom, you will tell your friends. Before proceeding in the video, we request you not to skip the video and watch it till the end. There is a hadith of Prophet Muhammad, about Hazrat Luqman, a Nazarite. I truly say that Luqman was not a prophet, but a servant who cared a lot. He was a firm believer in faith and faith. He kept Allah as a friend and Allah kept him as a friend. Allah Ta'ala had blessed him with wisdom. Hazrat Luqman was one of those people who attained to wheel age. Your age has been written as 200 to 560 and 1000 to 3500 years. He was a resident of Noba village in Africa. Because of this, his complexion was black, his lips were thick and his feet were wide. He was for a time a slave of Cain bin Hijjar, a wealthy man of Bani Israel, but because of his wisdom, his Arbab freed him. The famous Muhaz Masudi writes that Luqman was a resident of the village of Noba in Africa. His master's name was Cain bin Hazar. The 10th year of the reign of Hazrat Luqman Rahmatullah al-Hazrat Dawud alayhi salam brought Tashrif to the world. He was one Abdu Salam. Allah Ta'ala blessed him with wisdom. He lived a long life and lived in different parts of the world. Wisdom were always evident from him and he lived till the time of Hazrat Yunus alayhi salam. Nazarene, Hakeem Luqman's Hikmah will have been copied in the Holy Qur'an so that people who come to doomsday can take advantage of them and make their lives better. You have been hearing the name of Hakeem Luqman Rahmatullah al since childhood, because Allah Ta'ala has revealed a surah in the Holy Qur'an with his name, which will continue to be recited until the Day of Judgment, insha'Allah. But very few people are aware of who Hazrat Hakeem Luqman was. Allah Ta'ala has not mentioned anything about his lineage in his Kalam, but he has mentioned his Hikmah Awal. However, ancient history testifies that his name was present on the land of Arabia. However, there is disagreement about his identity and origin. According to one tradition, he was the nephew or uncle of Hazrat Ayyub alayhi salam, while another tradition says that he was a relative of Hazrat Dawud alayhi salam. Often Mukan is of the opinion that Hakeem Luqman Rahmatullah al was of African descent and came to Arabia as a slave. Jamhur ulama are in agreement that Hakeem Luqman was not a prophet and neither was it revealed to him, because there is no indication anywhere in the Quran and Hadith that suggests that Hakeem Luqman was a prophet or messenger. The truth is that Allah Ta'ala did not give prophethood to Hakeem Luqman, but gave him wisdom or wisdom. You were not good in appearance and appearance. As the famous Tab Hazrat Sa'id bin Masab Rahmatullah alayhi said to a Negro that you should not be sorry that you are a black Negro. Because 3 men among the Abyssinians have been the best human beings in the world, Hazrat Bilal Abyssinia, Hazrat Umar Farooq, the slave of Allah, and Hakeem Luqman. It is known from this tradition that you belong to the Habshi race. Hakeem Luqman's condition despite the differences in his life and times, the whole world recognizes him as a famous personality. Jahil's Mut'ad Shara has also smuggled them. Of course, the biggest proof of his wisdom is that Allah Ta'ala has mentioned the precious advice of Hazrat Hakeem Luqman Rahmatullah alayhi in Surah Luqman. What he had said to his son. Allah Ta'ala copied these wisdoms in the Quran so that people who come to doomsday can take advantage of them and make their lives prosperous and a good mashara can come into existence. Nazarene, in a hadith it is reported that Hazrat Luqman said to his son, "O my son, I have served 400 prophets. I have learned 4 things from their words. When you are in a state of prayer, protect your heart. When you are sitting on dastarakwan, protect your throat, i.e. protect it from haram goods. When you go to someone else's house, so protect your eyes, i.e. refrain from looking at the marm. And when you go among people, protect your tongue." Hazrat Luqman Rahmatullah alayhi is said to have spent most of his life in Mashrak Basta, especially Palestine and Baitul Muqaddas, and his grave is in Ella, a port in Palestine. Hazrat Luqman Rahmatullah alayh, who was a black-faced African and an ugly person, attained the high position of wisdom. It is only because of the beauty of soul and purity of heart. It has been narrated that a person asked Hazrat Luqman that you did not graze sheep and goats with us. Hazrat Luqman said, yes, it is so. He asked, tell me, where did you get knowledge from? You didn't study in any seminary. Hazrat Luqman replied, I have been blessed with this wisdom by the will of Allah, paying trust, telling the truth and benevolence. Hazrat Luqman Rahmatullah alayhi's 10 advices to his children, which are contained in the 5 verses of the Quran. This is a collection of Akay Kalak and Adab Mashat, and it is present in Surah Luqman of the Holy Qur'an. O son, do not associate anything with Allah, indeed, shirk is a great injustice. O son, goodness or badness is equal to a grain of opinion, and whether it is inside a stone or in the heavens or in the depths of the earth, then God will surely bring it to the fore, that he is both Latif and Baq. Son, establish the prayer, enjoin the good, forbid the evil, and whatever trouble it causes, on him be patient, that is a great act of wisdom. And beware, don't be arrogant in front of people, don't walk on the ground with pride. Look and keep your voice slow, because the worst voice is that of a donkey. Good afternoon, have a good night's sleep. Suddenly he heard a voice. O Luqman, do you know that Allah Ta'ala has appointed you as a caliph and representative on earth so that you can decide between the people? Janab Luqman Rahmatullah al replied, if my Lord gives me the choice, I will accept Rahi Afiyat and will not be prepared for a great test. But if there is a command, I will accept it with my heart and soul, because I know that if you put such a responsibility on my shoulders, then you will definitely help me and protect me from luxuries. The angel said, O Luqman, why don't you accept the responsibility of Kajav? Hakeem Luqman said, because it is one of the strictest Taran Manajil and the most important Taran Meral to act among the people. And from all sides the voice of oppressors is raised towards it. If Allah Ta'ala protects a person, then he can be saved. And if he goes on the wrong path, then he is barred from the path of paradise. A person whose head is low in this world and high in the hereafter is better than one whose head is high in this world and low in the hereafter. A person who prefers this world to the hereafter will not get this world and wash his hands of the hereafter. The angels were surprised by this beautiful prayer of Hazrat Luqman Rahmatullah al. To solve the problem, Hazrat Dawood alayhi salam said to him, O Luqman, you have been given wisdom. Now we narrate for you a few words and stories of Hazrat Luqman alayhi salam, in which there is a lesson and advice for all of us engaged in gambling. Was in a state of fun, he made a condition that whoever lost, he would either drink all the water from that glass or hand over his wife and his property and wealth to the winner. Hisha's heart lost to Dada, a rich man. The victorious man begged the rich man for his wife and wealth. He was now in deep trouble. He asked for a day's respite and went and requested Janab Luqman to get him out of this predicament. Hazrat Luqman Rahmatullah al said to that person, I will get you out of this trouble on one condition. That condition is that you will not gamble after today. That rich man accepted the condition of Hazrat Luqman Rahmatullah al. Janab Luqman Rahmatullah al said to him, when the victorious person comes to you and wants to drink all the water in the glass or hand over all the wealth and wife, then say to him like this, if what you want is the water that was in this river yesterday, then bring it so that I can drink it. And if what you want is the water that is present now, then you close the mouth of the glass so that I can drink the water that has escaped. And if you want the water that will be released in the future, then the future has not yet come, so be patient. When the poor person put the same thing in front of the person who won the gambling, he had no nerve and his mouth was closed. This is the point when the wisdom of Hazrat Luqman Rahmatullah al was amazing and people, they recognized him. According to historical tradition, he was the uncle of Hazrat Luqman alayhi salam, a wealthy man who bought Hazrat Luqman for 3 masks of gold. He released Janab Luqman after this speech. One day, Hazrat Luqman Rahmatullah al-Ki Arbab said to him, slaughter a sheep and cook for me 2 of its best dishes. Hazrat Luqman butchered the sheep, took out its tongue and its heart, cooked them and brought them before his Arbab. The next day, Arbab again said, "Bring 2 of the worst sheep's dishes cooked." Hazrat Luqman again prepared his tongue and heart to serve Arbab. Arbab asked, "I told you to cook the 2 best ayahs, so you brought the tongue and the heart. Then I asked you for a worse ayah, so you brought the heart and the tongue again. What is the reason for this?" Janab Luqman Rahmatullah al said, "If these 2 are pure, then they are the best, and if they are impure, then they are worse." One day Janab Luqman's uncle went to Baitul Kala. It had been a long time since he left. Janab Luqman said in a loud voice, "Sitting in Baitul Kala for a long time will cause pain in the liver and hemorrhoids. So sit as far as you can and get up and come out." After that, the same thing was written on the door of Baitullah to convince others. Hazrat Luqman was a great slave and slave of his master. Janab Luqman was also among those slaves. His Arbab, who was Zahir bin, used to send fair-skinned and beautiful slaves to the garden to pluck fruits, etc., but Janab Luqman was put to cold and hard work, such as sweeping brooms, etc. Thus he used to disrespect Hazrat Luqman Rahmatullah al. However, he was superior to all the slaves in character, and character. This wrong attitude of Janab Luqman's master became the reason that his slaves also started to despise Hazrat Luqman and were not sure of his worth. Rather, the hawks used to give them ajit. On one occasion, the master sent the slaves to the garden to pick fruit. He went to the garden and plucked different kinds of fruits, but taking advantage of AKA's perfect presence, he ate all the fruits. When Akka came and asked for fresh fruits, the slaves lied and said that Luqman had eaten all the fruits. When Akka heard this, he became angry with Janab Luqman Rahmatullah al. Hazrat Luqman understood that the reason for his master's ill treatment and displeasure was the effect of this slander of the slaves. He went to his master and gave him this advice, saying, "My master, come and take all our slaves so that you may know the good and the bad among us." He asked, "How do I test you guys?" Hazrat Luqman said, "Give us all hot water in a big jug and make us drink it. After that, you should mount a horse and run your horse to Bayaba, while ordering all the slaves to run behind you on foot. By doing this, you will know the secret whether I have eaten that fruit or they have eaten it." AKA took the exam in the same way. Hazrat Luqman and all other slaves were forced to drink hot water. He himself mounted the horse and said, "Run after me." They all started running after Arbab. It wasn't long before the slaves who had eaten the fruit, their condition worsened due to running. Those who had eaten the fruit etc. He made them understand that the fruit was not eaten by Luqman, but by other slaves and blamed Luqman. Only Janab Luqman bowed his head in front of his master and the other slaves faced shame. Hazrat Luqman was a slave of another person for a period of time. He had many other slaves, but among all his slaves, he loved Hazrat Luqman the most. Even whenever he wanted to eat, he would first bring his plate to Hazrat Luqman Rahmatullah al so that he would eat. When he would eat, his leftovers would be eaten with great gusto as tabrak. One day a person brought a melon as a gift to the Arbab of Hazrat Luqman Rahmatullah al. Arbab cut melon pieces in front of Hazrat Luqman and gave them to Hazrat Luqman. Janab Luqman kept eating melon slices from his teacher and kept saying that it was very sweet and he was eating it with great pleasure. When Arbab saw that Luqman was eating with great passion and enthusiasm, so he gave all the melons except one slice to Luqman, which he ate and kept one slice for himself. When Arbab put the remaining melon in his mouth, he realized that the melon was bitter like poison. Its bitterness caused blisters on the tongue, burning in the throat and worsened the condition. Arbab said to Janab Luqman, "How did you eat these bitter slices? Why did you not refrain from eating them?" Janab Luqman replied, "You have fed me sweet, delicious and favorite gum for a year and a half. Now that once something bitter has come, how is it possible that I should not eat it and feel sorry for it? Salt becomes haram. Hak Shanas and Shukra Gujari require that I remain silent. Just servants of God, you are drowned in the blessings of God. Whenever something bitter and difficult comes for a while in life, don't get discouraged. Once Hazrat Luqman Rahmatullah Al advised his son, "O my son." Nazreen, it should be noted here that Hazrat Luqman Rahmatullah Al had many children, but he used to start his speech by saying, "O my son," which suggests that he probably had only one son. Tariq named that son Barnagar. However, it is the way of khutbah of experience that he addresses the elders and gives his attention to the younger ones and advises them. Then you said to your son, "O my son, do not attach your heart to the flattery of people and their compliments, because such a thing does not come to the hands of a human being despite the effort." Son said that I want to see a practical example about this so that I can understand the situation better. Hazrat Luqman said, "Get up and go out of the house so that I can explain the situation." Hazrat Luqman Rahmatullah Al and his son left the house. He also had a donkey. Janab Luqman rode on it and the son followed him on foot. He reached a village walking. When those people saw this scene, they said, "Look at the old man, he is so kind that he himself is riding on a donkey, but his son is walking behind him. The truth is how wrong this is." Hazrat Luqman said to his son, "Have you heard his words?" The son said, "Yes." Hazrat Luqman said, "I now walk on foot and you ride on a donkey." Janab Luqman left on foot and his son rode. Walking. He met another planet. When that planet saw this scene, he said, "These two father and son are so bad people. The father is worse than this because he did not give his son the right training. The son is riding, while the old father is walking. And the son is bad because he has no mercy on his father and is oppressing him. Because the father has the right to be respected and he is riding on a donkey." Hazrat Luqman said to his son, "Did you hear their words?" The son said, "Yes." Janab Luqman said, "Now both ride." They both mounted the donkey and proceeded, approaching a planet while walking. When those people saw this scene, they said, "There is no mercy in the hearts of these two riders that both of them are riding on speechless animals." They broke the back of this animal, because the weight on them was more than the strength of this poor animal. It would have been better if one rode and the other walked. Hazrat Luqman said to his son, "Have you heard the words of these people?" The son said, "Yes." Janab Luqman said, "Come, this time we both walk behind the donkey." Both dismounted from the donkey and followed him on foot. He approached a planet of walking people. They said, "These two are strange ignorant people. They are walking while riding and the ride is left empty. How stupid it is." Hazrat Luqman said to his son, "Have you heard the conversation of these people?" He pleaded, "Yes." Janab Luqman said, "Is there any other way to convince the people? Now that the situation is like this, don't ever consider the consent of the people as your goal. Instead, consider the pleasure of God as your goal and limit so that you can achieve success in this world and the hereafter." It is narrated that one day, Hazrat Luqman Rahmatullah Al gave 3 advices to his son, saying, "O young man, memorize these 3 advices in your hafiz and follow them. Do not tell your secret to your wife. Do not make friends with the offices of Iwans, i.e. rulers. Do not borrow money from someone new and less wealthy." When Hazrat Luqman left this world, his son wanted to try these advices and see what would be the harm of doing these things, which his father had bequeathed to him not to do. He killed a sheep, put it in a sack, tied the mouth of the sack and picked it up and brought it home. He dug a grave under his bed and buried it there. He then said to his wife, "I had an enemy, I have killed him and buried him here. Be fascinated and keep this secret and do not tell anyone." After that, he made friends with an office worker who lived in his neighborhood. He gave him a feast every day and became his friend. A young man lived in this locality, who had no special fate. He had accumulated hard work and he was newly rich and flaunted his wealth even in recession. Hazrat Luqman's son borrowed some dirhams from him and hid them in the house. Days passed. One day Janab Luqman's son had a quarrel with his wife. He started moaning and said in a loud voice, "O Badak cattle, O bloodthirsty man, you have killed a person innocently and buried him in the house. Now you want to kill me too." His voice is that ruler who lives in Hamsi. Sing, my son, first look at the fellow traveler, then go on the journey. O son, loneliness is better than the death of a family. Brother, good man is better than solitude, lifting heavy stones and iron is better than evil man. O son, whoever does not control his tongue is a sinner. Consult the elders and do not be ashamed to consult the younger. Refrain from the slayings and gatherings of executioners, for they are such dogs. If they find something near you, they will eat it, otherwise they will humiliate you. Friendship with them should be done with a little more measure. O son, if you are daily in doubt about the doomsday, then keep away from yourself to wake up from sleep, while you do not have such strength and power within you. And if you consider and worry about both, you will understand that your life is in someone else's possession. Because sleep is death and waking up after sleep is a sign of doomsday after death. Son, Jan, I have learned 7,000 wisdoms, remember only 4 of them and put them into practice. And walk with me to paradise. Make your boat strong, because the sea of life is very deep. Lighten the burden of sins, because Gurga is such a difficult valley. Provide enough money for the Safari Akirat, because this journey is very long. Carry out your action openly, because the examiner of the action is very quick and very knowledgeable. Then he said, there will be a question about your youth, in which way you have ended your age. How did you collect the goods? In what way did that goods be spent? Be prepared to answer these questions. Don't regret what comes out of your hands in the world, because the world is not under pressure and it is not safe from forces. Just be prepared and alert and remove the veil of ignorance from your heart by taking your work seriously. Be mindful of Allah's favors and deeds and give thanks for His blessings. Always keep repentance in your heart and take advantage of the free time before death comes. Someone asked Hazrat Luqman, which person is the worst person? Hazrat Luqman said, that person is worse who does not care that people will consider him as a bad character. Someone said to Janab Luqman Rahmatullah alayh, how beautiful you are. Janab Luqman said, you are taking out the blemishes of my image or the Nazarene of Allah who carved my image. In Surah Luqman, Allah Ta'ala told Hazrat Hakeem Luqman about the wise advice he gave to his children. Hazrat Luqman did not call his son by his name, but called him by saying, O my son, from which it is known that taking a name does not express the love that is expressed by saying, O my son. Just as Mala Shori calls the child in love, Mera Lal, Mera Chand, Mera Sona, etc. Similarly, when the child reaches the age of maturity, parents should not talk about love in the same way. So the words of the parents will affect the heart and mind of the child. The very first advice that Hazrat Luqman gave to his son was the equivalent of Tawheed Bari Ta'ala, that my son, do not associate anyone with Allah. From this it was also known that the child was first religiously educated. Yufak should be trained so that he grows up to be a good Muslim. Because when his actions are correct, his actions will also be from Allah. And if a kaya is influenced by the Quran and the Sunnah, it cannot be guaranteed that he will do good deeds. Children's minds are clear, transparent and empty. Whatever is carved in it, it is strong and durable. Therefore, first of all, the child should be given dini and khalaq training. The teaching of the Quran and the Sunnah should be given to the expert asatija of Dini Amur. One of our problems is that we go to the dentist when we have a physical problem, like a toothache. Matter of heart.